Oh. Yeah, I don't see how there's been any time for any of that. We've known each other for a couple of hours or a few hours. There would have been about 2 hours between the AB rooms closing and the chromatic doors opening, and 45 minutes from the AB doors being opened to voting ending. It would be such an insane twist. A few hours is all it takes, but you wouldn't know you're pregnant in that time though. It would take months before you know you're pregnant. Dio tossed his head with a mixture of arrogance and feigned disinterest and marched out the yellow door. Temiuji and Kei quickly followed. In only moments, all three had disappeared. So, what was it you wanted to talk about? Okay, Spud. I was almost certain I knew you, but there was always hope. I did my best to act as if I was genuinely confused.
Oh, I don't really like this room. Could we go somewhere else?
Okay.
Good. I found somewhere nice when I was looking for Alice earlier.
As strange as her request was, I had no reason to object. I kept my mouth shut and followed Luna as she headed off. The garden?
You know this place?
Yes. Well, sort of. I came here once when I was looking for Alice.
Oh, I see.
So, what brings you here?
Isn't this nice? This is the only place in the whole facility with anything green. I feel kind of silly saying it, but it makes me think of the great outdoors. I think it's the perfect place for a serious conversation. Being surrounded by nature makes me feel happy. Oh, there's
Fair?
a bench over there.
I don't know how you come to that one, Gabby. I would hope not.
Would you like to sit down with me?
And then a knife in the back. She sat down softly and gently, and I lowered myself down next to her. So, what did you want to talk to me about? Instead of answering, Luna lifted the tiny birdcage pendant she wore into the palm of her hand. She was silent for a moment and then began to talk. This actually, I think it's very similar to a choice you make in a game called AI or Somnium Files, which I also bought at the same time of these games, and I will be playing it or streaming it at some point. In that game, it's a very similar game to these, but there's no escape rooms. But there is the decisions, there's the investigation spots and stuff. There's one spot where you choose which birdcage to open, and that's one branch in a tree. Similar to these flowcharts, one branch is like that is between two bird cages. And that bird cage just reminded me of that. Yes, correct. Tigress. I bought the 3 Zero Escape games and AI Somnium Files, the first one, in or at the same time on Steam sale. Yeah, this path is This path's not as long though. I've only just jumped back and changed to allying here. But that path here did go to a long one. I need the password to bomb number 3 to pass there further.
Can I tell you something? This is actually a music box.
Okay, so it's not about our hand.
Yes.
Why did she decide to pull us aside and talk something here? She twisted the key on the bottom and it made an almost imperceptible winding noise. When she released it, soft, clear notes drifted out. It's a nice song. Why'd you bring that up, though?
Because I wanted you to know, I guess. I wanted you to know more about me.
Okay.
Maybe it's because I'm so shy, but I don't really have any friends. Or even any acquaintances, really.
Yeah, I don't have many in real life either.
So I've sort of always been alone.
Yep, I have been most of my life too.
It was really hard. I felt so lonely a lot of the time.
Yep, I know what that feels like.
And it hurt.
Yes, it does.
It felt like I was just kind of going to collapse from the inside out.
Yep.
That was when I got this music box. Someone very important gave it to me. They didn't say anything, but I felt like there was an unspoken message behind it. Luna, happiness is closer than you think. Do you know Maeterlinck's The Bluebird?
Yeah. Well, I know the gist of it. I think it starts on Christmas Eve. This brother and sister named Tiltil and Mytil get asked to find a bluebird by this old woman, and they travel to the dream world. Or something. Anyway, supposedly if you can catch this bird, then you can make your wish come true. So they visit all these different places, but they can't find it. Eventually, they give up and go home. But when they wake up, the bird is in a birdcage in their hut.
That's right. It's a well-known story, and it teaches a simple lesson.
Yeah, like you said, happiness is closer than you think.
Right. It got me thinking. Maybe the person who gave me this music box was trying to tell me just that. I don't know if that's true. Maybe all of this is just in my head, but I really felt like that was what they'd meant. It was so kind. I kept it with me all the time, like a kind of good luck charm. But one day I realized something. There was another meaning to the bluebird. In Maeterlinck's original story, it doesn't end with them waking up.
There's more?
Yes. When Tiltil and Mytil try to feed the bird, it leaves the cage and flies away. And then the story ends.
What? What about the moral, then?
It changes. Now the message is that just when you think you found happiness, you'll lose it again. I thought about that for a while, but in the end, it didn't change how I felt. I don't know what they intended it to mean when they gave it to me, but I decided how I was going to look at it. It means that happiness is something you should always be looking for, and it's only when you're pursuing happiness that you're truly happy. You know, Sigma, I think you might be Tiltil.
What?
You know, the boy who the old lady asked to find the bluebird on Christmas Eve.
What are you trying to say?
Can I ask you something?
Sure.
Where did you find Alice?
What does that have to do with anything?
Just answer me. Where did you find Alice?
Room 2 in the crew quarters.
Where were you before that?
I was in the lounge. That was after we'd split up to go look for Alice. The first place I went was the lounge.
So you went from the lounge to the crew quarters, where you found Alice, and then you rushed her to the infirmary, right?
Yeah,
Okay, tell me this then. How do you know about the garden? Just now you said you'd come here when you were looking for Alice, didn't you? That doesn't make any sense.
we did in a different timeline.
There wouldn't have been any time for you to visit the garden while you were looking for Alice. So tell me, Sigma, how do you know about this place?
Well, I didn't know what to say. I couldn't even explain it to myself. Why had I told her I knew about the garden? Yep, Sigma sus. Sigma's slipped up. Why had I told her I'd been there before?
Sigma, are you a robot? Have you always been here?
What?
See, it would make so much sense if you were. That would explain why you knew about the garden, and it would explain that cut on your left hand.
There's the cut. Damn, so you did see it, huh?
Yes. I've been told that robots these days have what's called artificial biological tissue, or ABT, on top of a metal skeleton.
Myrmidons are just clones of humans. It wouldn't change their blood type. It wouldn't stop it being red blood.
It makes them look almost exactly like a human.
We heard this part, what she's just telling us from the golem in the golem bay.
And ABT uses this white liquid instead of blood.
For some reason, when Luna had called me a robot, it hadn't really fazed me. Maybe because it was just so out there. It didn't sound like a real possibility. It sounded more like a theory you'd get from someone in a nut house. Still, my hand was still oozing white liquid. Was I really a robot? No. That was impossible. It can't be Brother either, because Brother is an old man now, and he's also a real person, not the... He was Left's older brother. Left died as a kid, and Brother used his DNA and cloned a heap of, well, made a heap of clones identical to Left, and named them all Left, and created the Myrmidons. So, yeah. And we know now that we're supposed to be 22 years old. No, that was impossible. I needed to stop doing that. Questioning myself so much was giving me heart palpitations. Luna, aren't you a little scared?
Scared? Why would I be scared?
Well, let's say I am a robot. That means there's a pretty good chance Zero's pulling my strings. That would make me your enemy.
Oh, I guess so. Well, even if you were, I wouldn't be scared.
Why not?
Maybe because you're a robot.
Huh?
Have you ever heard of the 3 laws of robotics?
Yep.
They were a set of rules created by the science fiction author Isaac Asimov
Yep.
that he used in several of his stories.
Basically, all 3 laws are coming down to a robot can't harm a human. Rule 1. A robot may not injure a human being or through inaction allow a human being to come to harm. Rule 2. A robot must obey any orders given to it by human beings, except when such orders would conflict with the first law. Rule 3. A robot must protect its own existence as long as such protection does not conflict with the first or second laws. The problem with this is those laws need to be programmed into the robot in the first place for them to follow it. And in real life, you could easily make a robot kill people. Oh yeah, I've heard those before. That's just an ideal though. You could work toward that, but I don't think you could ever actually achieve it. I mean, depending on how you program them, robots could do pretty much whatever they wanted to. Exactly.
Yes, you're right. But I believe in them. In you. However you're programmed. I don't think you'd break any of the 3 laws. A robot without the 3 laws is just a bunch of metal and plastic. That's not you. You have a heart. You're a good person. It's in your eyes. Well, I guess I'm just kind of assuming you're a robot. There's still a chance you're not. We should run some tests.
Tests?
Yes.
Yeah, she is assuming that, and she's just said that she's assuming that I'm a robot. She's assuming that I'm following those rules. How?
Well, the atom should be able to tell us.
Oh yeah, that thing in the infirmary. I heard the crunch of dried leaves behind us. But when I turned, there was nothing. Who is it?
Is someone there?
Just me.
Fi?
Sorry, but can you guys come over here? I need you to see something.
Luna and I looked at one another, shrugged, and stepped into the bushes.
Welcome.
What? How long have you been here?
I just got here a little while ago.
Did you hear what we were saying?
No. Were you talking about something you didn't want me to know about? Whatever. Just have a look at this.
I followed the line of her finger. Yep, number 1 bomb. That's the one I have the password to. This is
An antimatter bomb.
Exactly. I'm pretty sure someone didn't move it here from the crew quarters.
different number.
In fact, I'm pretty sure it's an entirely different bomb.
Yep,
Look at the number on the side.
it says 01.
And the one in the crew quarters said 3, right?
Yep,
Then that must mean...
then there's no question, huh?
I've got more good news. Just think about the numbers for a moment.
You're
1
saying
and
there's
3.
a 2 bomb out there somewhere?
Yep,
Can't be
at
sure,
least,
but it does seem pretty likely.
at least also a number 2. Damn it. That means we're dealing with a combined explosive power equal to 3 tons of TNT.
Yeah.
Who planted them?
Was it you guys? I mean, you've been in here quite a while.
Hey, don't give me that. You're way more suspicious than we are. What were you doing in the bushes anyway?
Well, I was taking a walk.
Taking a walk? You really think I'm gonna buy that?
Fine. You got me. I heard you two were off talking in secret, so I got curious and went back to the Floor A warehouse.
That does sound more like it.
Of course you weren't there. That seemed pretty suspicious to me, so I headed here. And just as I'd suspected, there you were talking on the bench.
And what made you think we would be here?
I snuck up from behind so you wouldn't notice me. Then, just as I was getting close enough to hear, I found the bomb. So, believe me now?
So, who planted the bomb?
Honestly, it could have been any one of us.
It could have been, but it was Dio.
Anybody could have come here while we were all looking for Alice.
We need to tell everyone about this then.
You haven't missed too much. Luna pulled us aside and basically said, I trust you. I think you might be a robot. And then Fire came in and showed us the number 1 bomb on this tree. Yeah, you're right. Let's head back to the infirmary. Everyone else was already there when we arrived. Clover and Tenmyuji, Kay and Dio, and of course Alice and Quark. Luna's thinking we might be, because in this timeline, before we voted here, it was roughly here, one of these 2 boxes, we stopped, actually I think it was this box, we stopped Alice from committing suicide and we brought her to the infirmary. In the process of stopping Alice, our hand got cut with the scalpel. Instead of bleeding red blood, our hand is bleeding white liquid. Luna saw it and kind of thought it makes sense for us to be a robot. Yes, that stuff. So yeah, she pulled us aside to talk privately, just us two, and came to the conclusion I'm probably a robot. But we said to her, aren't you scared then? She replied, why? Well, if I'm a robot, that means there's a high chance that Zero Senior is controlling me. She goes, I'm not afraid. If you're a robot, you'd know, you'd be following the 3 laws of robotics. A bit like that, TCC. Both seem to be sleeping peacefully. You'd never think to look at them that they'd been completely insane not so long ago. All right, everybody, listen up. I told them how we'd found the number 1 bomb in the garden, and how, judging by the numbering on the 2 bombs we'd found so far, there was probably a number 2 bomb out there somewhere.
Oh, this is bad. What are we going to do?
Well, I think Alice mentioned something.
There should be an emergency deactivation password. If you enter that password, the device should, well, deactivate. You see it right here. There's a port. If we can find the password input device, we just connect it here. Then we can enter the password.
So if we have the password, we can deactivate them?
Oh, whoa, hold on a second. That's great and all, but we need that password input device she was talking about. Without that, we're still boned even if we did have the password.
Yeah. That's why I want all of you to let me search you.
I beg your pardon?
You heard me. Chances are whoever planted those bombs is in this room. There's also a good chance they've also got the device we need to deactivate the bombs.
So you're planning to search us for it?
Exactly.
So we don't have the deactivation machine at the moment. And we know from another timeline that it's in a safe and no one here actually has that device.
But...
No buts. If you refuse, then I'll assume it's because you've got it and you planted the bombs. Unless you want that, I suggest you cooperate. Clear? Good. Now who's going to be first?
Can Sigma butt in and say, don't take the deactivation device away from Dio too far, or it will start a timer on the bombs? Wait,
Huh?
you only need to search one person.
What? Why?
Because I figured out who did it. I know who did it. The words were out of my mouth before I even realized I was saying them.
How can you... There's no way.
Yeah. I met Fire's gaze and nodded, then turned away. I know who set the bombs. That person. Is you, Dio.
Come on, what is this? Are you high?
Well, we're about to find out. Sorry, Kay, but could you hold him down?
Well...
It's on him, I promise.
Knock it off, Sigma. You're doing this all backwards.
So, this isn't a court. Besides, all we want to know is who set the bombs.
Ugh.
And why are you getting so worked up anyway? If you're innocent, then a search will show that and all look like and I'll look like an idiot.
Nice try, but that's some bullshit totalitarian logic. I don't think so. What are you even basing this on? How do you know I set the bombs?
Because
Just spit it out.
I know about myrmidons.
The Mirma what?
I beg your pardon?
No. How do you know that, Sigma?
Oh, that's not all I know. I know about Free the Soul, and I know about Brother.
What the hell are you talking about?
I can tell you the details later. But there's no question that you were the one who set the bombs. Yeah, another question mark box.
Who the fuck do you think you are? None of that has anything to do with me. I don't know who the Myrmidons are. And I don't know what Free the Soul is. And I certainly don't know anything about some old fart called Brother.
And there he goes again, calling him an old fart, when we didn't even say an age. Heh. Oh, Dio, tell me, how does that foot taste? Who's the Myrmidon? Who the Myrmidons are? I don't recall saying the Myrmidons were people. And what about Brother? How would you know his age if I haven't said anything besides his name?
Wait, he's left? But that means he's a terrorist.
A terrorist?
Oh dear.
Left?
Well, looks like I won't be able to talk my way out of this. Seriously, though, when did we get so famous?
We did see all this in timeline just earlier today, so I'll skip this. We don't need to see all that again.
Okay. I'll give you one, since I'm such a swell guy. The password for bomb number 2 is...
Okay, let me get ready.
EQD DYR NTK.
EQD DYR NTK. Now I have 2 passwords.
Bomb number 2?
But we haven't found that one yet.
Oh? Oh. Well, my mistake. Must have slipped my mind. Well, there's nothing you could do anyway. You don't have the input device. Really, it'll be much easier if you all just give up.
Where's the input device?
Oh gosh. I wonder.
Where did you put the number 2 bomb?
Shoot, you know, I just can't remember.
You son of a...
Anyway, I think it's time for me to be moving on.
Moving on.
To where?
What, I have to explain everything? To the next world, of course.
He's gonna take the pill. No, wait. I threw myself toward Dio and wrapped my hand around his wrists, slamming it into the floor. He struggled, but I put all my weight on it and kept his arm pinned.
Shit! Let go of me, goddammit! Get off of me! Let me go!
Can we dogpile onto him again? Stop him getting that pill into his mouth? He continued to struggle, but I wasn't going to let him go.